Moment of personal privilege, as they like to say. I got some bad news this morning. In the middle of that last segment, one of my favorite people passed away. She was a listener, and the profound impact that she had on my career, I don't even know if she knows. But her name was Erin, and she was very, very active on the YouTube chat. And so how did she have an impact on my career? And this is why, it's so important. Like, some of y'all feel like you are sort of just faceless listeners or you have no voice or whatever. That is actually not true. 12 years ago, Joan, I was behind this very microphone.
Yeah.
And I was on Facebook, of course. And this listener just kept hammering me with stuff, right? And I'm like, who is this woman that's just sending me all these things that she's commenting, in my Facebook Messenger? And I'm looking through all of her things, and I realize very quickly that this is a really, really smart woman. And so we formed a very fast friendship. And for me, for 12 years, I mean, there probably wasn't a day that went by that we didn't chat via text. I mean, that's how much it was, and yes, my wife knew. Yes, her husband knew. We're just, I'd only met Erin like 2 or 3 times. She came to my wedding. And, but as I quickly realized how smart she was, I had what I called my Erin file, right? My Erin file was every morning when I would wake up, I'd have like 10 to 15 stories from her.
Wow.
Yeah. She was just really, she was into WTN. She loved WTN. She loved the hosts of WTN. And again, for a woman that I'd only met a couple of times, she was so important to me that I invited her to my wedding, and I considered her a very good friend. And so part of what she meant to me, the reason why she meant so much to me is, one, we were ideologically, very compatible. But the other thing, how did she help my career? So when I first met Erin, I would just go to websites, right? And at one point she said, and I remember it, WTF is wrong with you? Stop going to websites. Go to Twitter. And I started doing that, and it completely changed my show.
Well, I'm so sorry. That's a tough loss.
Yeah, it is. A couple of grandkids. I think grandkids the age of yours, Joan.
Yeah.
Actually. So, man, I am just having a hard time. And it's kind of weird. Like when I was a kid, you ever do this, Joan? Do you remember like party lines on the phone? Do you remember this?
I do.
All right. So when I was a kid, you would hang out on the party lines and you would chat with people on the phone.
Yeah.
And just stupid stuff as a kid. And I used to laugh because people would be like, oh, I really like you. And it's like, you've never even met me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like with Erin, it was sort of like I met her, again, at a station event once, and then I think at a second station event, and then she came to my wedding. That was the last time that I saw her, I believe. And, but she was, again, so smart and so supportive of the radio station. And just one of my favorite people, even though I had only met her a couple of times. But we would have these great conversations on text or chat or whatever. And, Amy, Amy loved her as well. I mean, they would communicate as well. So the other thing that I loved about her, and this is a story that I've never told, but it's kind of funny. So way back when, they were, remember, you know I do a lot of fill-in for Red Eye, right? So they were monitoring my show here on WTN, and I was doing, whatever that I do, and she had hit me with a couple of supporting topics for what I was talking about, which she was famous for. And so as I'm rolling through my monologue and the topic, she sends me some like updated parts of the story that I did not have. So the powers that be over at Westwood One, when they asked me to fill in for Red Eye, they said, yeah, we were monitoring your show, and we loved when you added this in and so on. And so got really into the mechanics of hosting a talk show. Erin was the one that's...
You can do this.
She's the one that sent me the topics.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tough. And I'm sorry to do this. Probably should have waited till 8:35, but whatever. Chris likes her too. Like she was a big fan of Chris Hand. I don't know if Matt or Chad, I don't know about those guys. But anyway, so she passed away last night at 10 o'clock. So tough. I really do. Some of these folks, I'll look at Joan. For people that thank you, Joan. For people that may think that like the hosts just don't care about listeners and so on and so forth, and I truly believe that Erin, she was a friend, and I consider all the listeners my friend. But but Erin truly was a friend, absolute friend, and so I was hoping I wouldn't be on the air when I found this out, but of course here we are. So anyway, that is the news, and she was very active on. Oh, the other thing that she did, she nagged me for 6 months about playing video on YouTube. It's like, Dan, look what Chris is doing. You're behind. Why didn't you start playing video like Chris is doing? Over and over again. Oh, my goodness gracious. So I finally did it. And now WTN and yours truly, and certainly Chris as well, those of us who play video, we are actually getting accolades in the company for doing that. And Erin was a big part of that initiative, even though she didn't even get paid for this. She was just a supporter and a listener. And she was very supportive of me and of all of us. So anyway, I've got to stop. So that is the story of Erin and why I'm going to be a little off the rest of the day. By the way, Sam, thanks for playing that really sad music as I'm making that announcement. Joan, I think that Sam wants to get paid by the tier.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Hold on. It's beautiful music.
It is beautiful music, but it didn't help me get through the announcement. I'm like, oh, no, is he really doing this?
I care more about your emotional well-being than your ability to perform.
Very, very appropriate music. Anyway, Joan, can we talk about your water problems?
Yeah.
Now, when we say that your water broke,
we're not talking.
We're not talking about the traditional water breaking.
Yeah,
So you were doing a story where what counties is it? You got a bunch of counties.
Coffee County,
or cities.
The towns are Manchester, Tullahoma, Bell Buckle, Wartrace, Pelham, Hillsborough. Those areas. They've been telling us. We've been getting text messages that say, "Hey, cut down on your water usage." Okay, fine. But that's all at first that was said to us.
Right.
And then came a text message or an email over the weekend that said, "We're dire. Stop using so much water right now." And, the eyebrows are like raised, like, okay, but I didn't know we were there. And
Well, it's almost like
Why?
they were like threatening, and you're all going to be without water because you're wasting water. It almost sounds like you and I were talking about this before the show. It sounded accusatory.
It did. It was, hey, you people are using too much water. And in fact, they said that they're using 1 million gallons more of water per day than normal usage.
1 million gallons?
Yes.
Per day?
Per day. So honestly, how can just ordinary users doing things like running the tap water so that their lines don't freeze, like, I don't know that could use all that much water.
No,
so
you're talking about little drips.
Yeah, the message said, urgent, stop all non-essential water usage immediately to avoid mandatory emergency restrictions. Turn off dripping faucets. This I thought was funny. No car washing. Who's doing that at 34 degrees?
Right.
Delay laundry if at all possible. If you have a leak, call immediately. If you need help turning your water off at your meter, we will notify you when normal usage can resume, hopefully in the next couple of days. But still nothing about what's going on.
1 million gallons.
I would assume that there are some busted pipes.
So, yeah, Channel 4 this morning said that there's a leak in a water pipe, a water, a transitory
one of the
pipe.
mains.
Yeah, it's something. It's not a main, but it's a water pipe at their.
It's a piece of metal that's leaking 1 million gallons a day.
But they're telling us that if we don't stop using so much water,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, number one, why did it take Channel 4 to uncover the fact that it's their fault that we have leaky pipes, that you folks have leaky pipes? They're essentially blaming the citizens of wasting water.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's their problem because they've got a leak in the pipes. And by the way, I don't know, how hard is it to go down there and fix the leak?
Depends on where it is.
Yeah.
Having done some work like that recently at the end of this summer, which was not fun, and if you think about the amount of ice that was on people's yards pressing down into the earth, you could have some water line. They're buried a couple feet down, 3 or 4 feet down, and then they're kind of packed in with gravel, especially if there's been a repair on some junction at some point in the line.
Right.
My theory would be that the weight of all the ice in the yard was enough to push it down and spring a leak out of. It's different pressure and weight that's normally, on your property.
So apparently, some other people are getting better information than those of us who live in the Manchester area. This person, 6890, said, I live in one of the areas affected. And from my information that I am receiving, there is a water leak that's dumping about 47 to 50% of the water out into the ground. Eesh, that's a lot.
6081 says, I have an undetected leak. Half of Fayetteville burnt down this weekend. Fayetteville burned down this weekend? What happened in Fayetteville? 4702 says it probably didn't help that half of Fayetteville downtown burnt down this weekend.
Let's check that out.
Yeah. A lot of people saying, just like NES is poor planning. I don't know. Here's what I would say, that it's an affront. It's kind of insulting that they wouldn't tell you what was going on. Clearly, they wanted to get you folks to conserve water. Now, here's my question. Were you conserving water, Joan?
Yeah, we were. We in fact have a load of laundry that's in the washer ready to be washed. And we thought, well, we don't need everything right now. So, we won't. Waited until the dishwasher was completely full before we ran it, that kind of thing.
Listen, if you want to bring some laundry
Can I bring it
work,
to your house?
we can have Sam do it.
Whoa, no. I know how to put the pod and hit the start button in.
That's all I do, man.
So apparently there was a large fire that destroyed a huge portion of the town square in Fayetteville.
Wow.
Apparently the call came in around 3:30 a.m. and News 2 has it that they fought it till 12:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Okay.
Lots that was lost there.
Anybody hurt?
I do not see any injuries.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to dig into this and check it out.
I'm assuming that Murphy Show is going to be broadcasting live from the Legends Steakhouse in Smyrna. As far as I can tell, this is our first ever event in Smyrna. So I'm going to be there. Chad's going to be there, and Chris, and of course Matt. We'll all be there. We're going to watch the State of the Union. We call it State of the Union. We've done a few of these, and we'll have a live broadcast from like 3 to 8, and then we'll go to the State of the Union, and listen to the State of the Union together. And I'll never forget. I think it was one of our first State of the Union or Stake of the Unions, where Nancy Pelosi. Remember when she ripped up the president's speech, President Trump's speech? That was the first one that we did. The audible gasp in that room when that happened. My back was turned to the screen, but everybody who was there just saw that and was horrified. That was our first one, and that's a memory that I keep with me. So anyway, looking forward to meeting you folks for February 24th. 8 o'clock. The whole thing will begin at 3. Legend Steakhouse in Smyrna. You can find out more information at our website, 997wtn.com. You know, I think Trump has a lot of things to brag about. I really do. Now, last week, there was a lot to talk about with NES. Looks like now everybody's power is back on, but now power is being turned back on, and homes are catching on fire because of the breaker. You've got to reset your breaker, I guess. And so Joan's been talking about that. There was just very quickly, then I'm going to move on. NES sent out, hey, can you, Sam, are you on X? Can you look up NES? They put out a tweet over the weekend, and it's like, they said something like, we're proud to say that everyone is now back up and running. And I saw that tweet, and I thought, are you kidding me? You have absolutely nothing to be proud of, NES. I'm not going to go into a whole NES thing. I'm still trying to play catch up from last week on some of these topics that I didn't get to because of the whole NES debacle. And there's a lot of things that I want to get to. But bottom line is for NES is there still needs to be some accountability. And we'll see ultimately if that accountability ever happens. But people, what do they call it? Ratioed? Where people started, yelling at NEX because they come out and they say, hey, we're proud to say that everybody's back. And it's like, weeks too late. So people started, as you can imagine, slamming them in the comments.
Yeah, they got ratioed pretty hard. 187 comments to 138 likes.
So there you go.
Following the unprecedented destruction of Winter Storm Fern, we are proud to announce that power has been restored to all customers capable of receiving it.
Do you really think that they have anything to be proud of, NES? They have nothing to be proud of.
All of the diversity and the equity and inclusion. All
that is so incredibly important. By the way, Donald Trump, though, does have something to be proud about. TrumpRx.gov came out here. This was, I think, Wednesday or Thursday of last week. But again, with all the NES stuff, it was a big conversation over the weekend, so I'm going to get into some of this. But of all people, Mark Cuban is singing the praises of Donald Trump because what the president is doing is he has now opened up this website where you can get a lot of the most common prescription drugs out there at a lot cheaper prices. This is Mark Cuban. Listen.
We'll work with TrumpRx. I mean, it's incredible. It's stupendous. It's like the most incredible program ever. And so we're excited to offer them our API so that they'll be able to download our daily prices. So when they go down, everybody benefits. Plus, I like what they're doing with the MFNs because, as I mentioned in my comments, our brand drugs are more expensive because PBMs are involved. And with TrumpRx and the MFN program, that allows manufacturers to work around the PBMs and work directly to patients. So I think it'll save seniors, it'll save everybody a lot of money.
So I don't know what all that PBM and NPR, I don't know what all that is. But what I can tell you is that there's a lot of people who are really excited about this. And we all know that Mark Cuban is not a fan of President Trump, but even Mark Cuban recognizes that the president is trying to help the American people with this new website. And we've been talking about prescription drug prices, I mean, for years, obviously.
Those PBMs, that's why cutting them out is what allows the prices to come down. That's the pharmacy benefit managers.
Oh,
So,
you're cutting out the middleman.
Yeah,
the middle
so you're
person.
cutting out the
Okay.
CVS Caremark, Express Scripts, Optimum RX, all those managers of your benefits, cuts them out of the picture. And so now you get direct pricing for consumers. It's so smart. I mean, people have been talking about this for years. And like 10, 20 years we've been talking about PBMs.
Well, and also remember that these drugs are going to be cheaper because they equal the price of the most favored nation status.
Yes.
So you find the nation with the cheapest drugs. I don't know what it would be, Ethiopia, whatever. I have no idea. But we're going to match that lowest price. So
Finally.
on a lot of these drugs. You're right, Joan, finally, because this has been going on for a long time. And Trump has been calling for this for a long time. And so basically what you can do is go to this website, TrumpRx.gov, and search for discounts on 43 brand name drugs. So, yeah, a lot of these drugs are going to be cheaper because the president mandated, this was a mandate from Trump, that we sell these drugs with most favored nation status, meaning whatever the cheapest price for these drugs are sold across the world, that is what they'll be sold for here. And I don't remember, I know, Joan, you and I talked about this a long time ago, but there were some crazy examples where, like in the UK, you would get something for like, I don't know, $5 a bottle or whatever.
Yeah.
And in America, it was like hundreds of dollars.
And why should Americans, we're the country where the research and development happens. That our people are the ones that do the developing. The smarts come from us.
Yep.
Why are we giving it away to everybody else and Americans have to pay more?
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is absolutely infuriating.
I wanted to see what the numbers would be on some stuff. So, Joan, you said they only have 43 medications up right now. They have a notifications list. They are just getting started. They will get updates to people that want to get notified. So I looked at like a common medication. They have Insulin List Pro on there from Eli Lilly and Company, and you can get one 100 milliliter vial, 100 milliliter strength in a 10 milliliter vial for $25 for insulin.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That is a huge. The GLP-1 drugs.
That's just the raw price. That's without putting in you could have a copay with your insurance.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing that is on there is GLP-1 medications, that help people lose
Right.
weight. And I think that's huge too for a lot of people, because when you look at when you've got people that are severely overweight and they can get on these GLP-1 medications and lose a bunch of weight, then they're going to be healthier.
Yes.
They're going to be a lot healthier, and the diabetes is going to be gone, and you're not going to have to replace knees because people's knees can't handle the weight. You know what I mean? There are a lot of issues with people being massively and morbidly overweight. You allow those GLP-1s to be accessed at a cheaper rate, more people can get on it. You're going to see diabetes, heart disease, a lot of these other things start to go by the wayside. So I think this is huge. The president was asked about all this.
Starting tonight, dozens of the most commonly used prescription drugs will be available at dramatic discounts for all consumers throughout a new website. It's called TrumpRx.gov. That's TrumpRx.gov. This launch represents the largest reduction in prescription drug prices in history by many, many times. And it's not even close. You're going to see numbers that you're not going to believe.
So here's the thing, and this is what frustrates me about some folks, is that I do understand that there are some groceries that are still too high. Totally get it. Right there with you. But you know what? You have to sometimes look at other ways in which the president is trying to help you save money and how Republicans are trying to help you save money. Gas prices are really low. There are some groceries that have indeed gone down. Inflation has slowed down a lot. You have 401ks that are going through the roof. And what is it, 69, 70, 71% of the American people have a 401k. We talked about rents that have been going down a lot over the last 3 or 4 months. And so
don't forget the Trump accounts.
And the Trump accounts. That's right. The Trump accounts as well for little kids. So for all of this, just realize that the president is doing a lot of really good things. You know, there's some people that will just harp over and over and over and over again. It's the groceries. I know it's the groceries. But don't be so myopic and look at other things that President Trump is doing to save people money or to help people make money. To sit here and just focus on, and I know that it's politics, but to just sit here and focus on just groceries, as opposed to looking at some of the other things that Donald Trump is doing as a whole to help save people money or make money, I think it's incredibly important. RFK Jr. was asked about all this.
We're paying, compared to Europe, we're paying 2, 3, 4, 15 times what Europeans are paying for the same drug that was made by a factory in New Jersey. And thanks to President Trump's vision and courage and his just relentlessness, we were able to leverage tariffs and to negotiate in good faith with 16 of the 17 pharmaceutical companies. They're now all lowering their prices. So Americans are going to be paying the lowest cost in the world for all their pharmaceuticals. They were paying the highest cost, and that's going to be, in terms of affordability, it is going to be a game changer for America.
Sadly, though, Sam, 6437 says no Viagra.
Yet. Okay,
Give it time.
Yeah.
Give it time.
What she said without the Viagra.
Oh, my gosh, just stop.
Hey, Joe, did you see I used the term myopic in that last segment?
Did you know what it means?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
do you know? I want to throw something at you, but there's 2 walls in between us. Of course I know what it means. I wouldn't use it unless I didn't know what it means, although I've been known to do that on occasion.
Yeah.
I loved you. Yeah.
Well, you did refer to your car as grungy earlier instead of grimy from the salt and the stuff that you tracked into your floor mats.
Right.
So I just thought you had a bunch of Nirvana albums laying around.
No, I've never purchased a Nirvana album in my life, actually.
How did you use it in a sentence?
Myopic?
Yeah.
Quit being so myopic, people.
Yeah.
About the groceries and cost of things.
You can't be, when you're looking at the economy, you can't be so myopic to only look at groceries. Look at all the other things that Donald Trump has done to help people save money or make money. And that,
I was going to say, lest we forget that RFK has rolled out some, new restrictions as far as food processing and distribution goes that are probably going to keep prices up for a minute till the processes are fully implemented.
Yep. So there you go. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot more, and I think this is a really good thing. Does that man have to put his name on everything? Donald Trump?
Yes.
TrumpRx?
I think that is the ultimate troll.
Hey, you know what I'm going to do? Joan and Sam?
Yeah.
I'm going to go see, I'm going to go to Las Vegas, and I'm going to stay at Trump Hotel.
Good.
I'm going to say, Amy was looking at the website. She's like, oh, my goodness gracious. I've never stayed in a Trump hotel. Have you?
No.
Sam?
I've used the bathroom in the one in New York.
Very expensive.
Oh, are they? Oh, then maybe
yeah.
we won't. I'll have to check.
Because they're just like you would expect if you happen to see the Melania movie. There's gold everywhere in their homes.
There's gold everywhere in the Oval Office.
Yes.
Look at
Trump.
So
that's how his hotels are too. They're just over the top gorgeous. Over the top. So yeah, they're pretty expensive.
Brian says DJT is a branding genius. I agree.
Yeah.
Actually.
On Friday, when I was working, I was trying to find stories about very important things that were going on, like the talks in Iran, things like that.
Yes.
ABC News was solely focused on President Trump wanting to put his name on things and negotiating deals such that his name would end up, on a bridge in New Jersey, whatever, that they couldn't even cover any other stories.
Wow.
They were really focused on it. They were over the top. So
that's our news source.
It is. It is.
Depend on it. Depend on ABC News to be myopic in their coverage. Thank
nice.
you.
Well done.
Mm-hmm.
You sound so white.